had the Irish accent with a lot of Peterhead words, so you can imagine quite literally nobody could understand me at that point. Half me wants to drink, the other half doesn't want to pay for it. I was both an apprentice machinist, apprentice engineer with S.E.O. I was also an apprentice Sparky with Scotia Homes. However, I quickly realised I'm absolutely garbage with my hands. But I felt like having that experience definitely separated me from the pack a little bit. I probably just looked at things a little bit differently. I mean, I was 18 years old with no qualifications, having left school at 16. But if the core foundations of the business isn't delivering what it does, then I'm shooting myself in the foot.
Hello, I'm back. It's Seasonal Discussions. I'm still here. Apologies if I look sweaty. This is my third episode of recording in front of these cameras today. These lights are warm. I'm sweating like a madman. If you haven't already done so, please click subscribe down at the bottom of this. It's free to support the channel, the business, and everyone that we have coming on. And joining us for today's episode is Arch35's co-founder, face of Arch35,
Pretty much.
body of Arch35. It's Darren Cadger. Darren, how's it going, buddy?
Not too bad, pal. Thank you. How about yourself?
Not bad. It's been a bit of a chore to get you to come in. We've had so much stuff going on between you being busy, your car deciding it doesn't want to be a car, us trying to find availability and sort stuff out. But we've got you in at last, which is good.
Exactly. Better late than never, eh?
Aye, we had a chance to catch up in person at a Business Gateway event recently where you were a guest speaker, which we'll get into shortly. But before we do, tell us quickly or briefly about Arch35. What is it and what do you guys do?
So we're a S.E.O. I wouldn't call it an S.E.O. agency fully. I think it's a marketing agency, but S.E.O. is definitely where we specialise in. It's something that I felt within not just the local market, but particularly nationwide. It was something that there was either people not really sure what it was, people maybe on retainers not really getting their full value out of it, a mixture of just dissatisfied customers and lack of, I don't want to say lack of education, downplay people's intelligence, but definitely in terms of a lot of maybe people watching YouTube videos and getting a grasp of it, but not that 100% feel for it. So for me, it was about having that opportunity in that space to either let people know what it is that you can actually do for it, or obviously do it myself.
And how long have you been going for now?
Just past the 6-month mark. So the company, at the time of recording, it is February 2025 we were founded. Okay. So yeah, just over 6 months. Aye.
So did you have the joys of like founding in February and then going, I've only got a month and a half until the end of the tax year?
So the initial idea probably came about the summer, I want to say the summer prior, in terms of that initial discussion I had with the co-founders. And right, I think we can do something here. But in terms of that, okay, we're actually going to give this a go, I would say it was around about winter last year.
Okay.
And then went away for Christmas and New Year, had to think about, right, are we actually going to do this? I actually moved house in January as well.
Just to make your life easier.
Of course, just to really double down on the stress for it. So, I mean, thought, why not start a company in the February? We'll just go full tilt.
It's like I've stressed myself out to this point. I might as well just add to it and keep the stress ball rolling downhill. Eventually it'll wear out. So Arch35's there. It's been going for a few months, 6 months at time of recording. How did you get to that point of having a business though? Because you're a Peterhead loon originally, are you?
Yeah, so I was born in Limerick in the Republic of Ireland.
Okay.
So my mum is Irish. So mum's side of the family's Irish. My dad's from Peterhead. So I moved to Peterhead when I was around 2-3 months old, give or take. So essentially I had a Irish accent growing up with my mother. Hit primary school, had the Irish accent with a lot of Peterhead words, so you can imagine quite literally nobody could understand me at that point. And then obviously grew up in Peterhead throughout going to school, etc. Yeah, obviously I developed this Peterhead accent now, which I'm probably, for the purposes of recording, still having to refrain quite a bit from going too in depth to, just for the general audience. But yeah, grew up there my whole life. Recently moved to Ellen, just for the commute a little bit closer to Aberdeen, where the business is situated. But I was in Peterhead for 28 years, so I would say to most people, Peterhead.
Mostly a Peterhead.
Exactly.
But Irish by birth, Peterhead by drag up, if nothing else.
Half me wants to drink, the other half doesn't want to pay for it.
There's as apt a description as ever we can give to anything. So what guided you through, like what kind of shaped your approach to things? Because you've gone through schooling in Peterhead.
Yeah.
You went to RGU University. Did you do NESCOL before you did RGU?
I did NESCOL before RGU, but before NESCOL I was both an apprentice machinist, apprentice engineer with S.E.O. I was also an apprentice Sparky with Scotia Homes. So I've worked full-time since I was 16. I think in terms of giving me the background, in terms of work ethic, etc. And with these industries in particular, a spade's a spade. And I think going into college and uni, that probably made me have a little bit of a different approach to people, which on paper were 2 or 3 years older or younger than me, or even the same age at times. But I felt like having that experience definitely separated me from the pack a little bit. I probably just looked at things a little bit differently. As I said, a spade's a spade. I was probably quite blunt at times when I didn't even realise I was being it. But it's something that journey started out when I was 16. I wanted to be essentially just another offshore worker. I mean, it was something that my dad did. My dad was very good at his job, and a big influence in terms of work ethic, that a lot of that's reflected onto me. However, I quickly realised I'm absolutely garbage with my hands. I'm incredibly clumsy. Like, any of you who knows me on a personal level, I drop stuff, I lose stuff all the time. I genuinely am just a nightmare.
Perfect for offshore work.
So you can imagine the potential disaster was probably for the best that wasn't the route I went down. But both in a Sparky capacity and a engineering capacity, it was something that I was very keen to work. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I don't think I was in the right headspace at the time to go into full-time work at that point. I had to go through a lot of, I suppose, and if you were to word it in a business sense, it was a personal rebrand, but I don't think I would necessarily call that, because I had to look internally into myself and really change, whether it be the conversations I could have with people, because I mean, when I was 18 years old, I couldn't even go up to a bar and order a drink. Like, that is the level of, and again, I feel like words like anxiety are used probably a bit too spread too easily, I should say, rather. But in that case, it probably would be, I suppose. So I felt like I had to really go back to the drawing board and kind of reassess who I was as a person. And that was something that it took a long time. I took a few months out after going through 2 apprenticeships and neither of them working out. You can imagine what that does to somebody's self-confidence. It's something that, particularly at that age, I mean, I was 18 years old with no qualifications, having left school at 16, 2 failed jobs. You're kind of looking into the end of the barrel, really, for lack of a better phrase. It's something that you think, right, what are we going to do now? So I went to S.E.O just for something to do, to be quite honest with you. It was something that I thought, well, quite enjoyed. I never did business in school, but I did modules quite similar. Just took a punt on it, to be quite frank. There was no magic story behind it. There wasn't like a massive, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm quite opinionated, and I've always said that, oh, I think I could do so-and-so better, whether it be in a business sense or just in general. Went into college anyway at NC level, just kind of finding my feet again. I got part-time work with Argos as well in Peterhead. Did that for 5 years, the Argos job that is. But I did my NC and my HND, both in S.E.O and Aberdeen. At that point, it would have been the 2-in-2 programme, so I had an RGU into 3rd year. However, I went back into 2nd year to do international business, which I don't think a lot of people knew that was an option. It was something that I kind of just inquired about it. I think it was like when RGU just go to NESCOL and kind of an open day, really. Somebody had just passed it on that's one of the options. And with the 2nd year, you got 6 months abroad and 1 year work experience.
Okay.
So I thought it was kind of a no-brainer for me. I was the only one out of my college intake to do it. But for me, it was a no-brainer that I'll go back a year but do 6 months abroad, which I did. I went to Hanover in Germany.
Okay.
And I did 1 year's work experience in oil and gas in a commercial finance role as well. I say 1 year, it was cut short about 9-10 months or something like that. It was because of COVID coming in. But yeah, that was it. And then that was my undergrad sorted for international business. Graduated during COVID as well. So you can imagine that the job market in particular was so poor at that point. And honestly, again, going back to, it's ironic coming from somebody who started a marketing agency, that there was no real, like, I've been into marketing since I was 5 years old. It's been this, there's no kind of Disney movie story behind it. I genuinely I was quite good at one of the modules in college level. I'll take a punt at that as well. And I'd also known somebody who'd done the course prior as well. So signed up to that, Masters in International Marketing, just due to lack of jobs and lack of something to do, really. I was kind of wanting a last year in uni properly as well, as you can imagine, probably from a social aspect. So,
it's fair. It's what most people do uni-wise, especially for that final year. The first year and the last year are none but social, from what I've heard of the uni side of things. So, see, I've never done uni. I've done the, like, sort of working outside of Aberdeen, working outside of where you're based and shifting away here, there and everywhere, but uni side I never did.
It's something that, I mean, I've seen so many talented people come throughout university, but at times as well, coming from my background, I've seen some very, very talented tradespeople as well.
Aye.
You can imagine people who are 16 years old and didn't do stuff. I've already said that I'm quite crap in my hands anyway, but some of the really talented people who have never went down that route as well. It's something that I think for me, it was probably beneficial in terms of forcing me into a more social environment, because that was what I needed. I needed to get myself out there. And I think particularly now, the role that I'm in, I need to kind of be out there quite a lot, particularly at the early stages of the business, particularly for kind of the local markets, whether that be Aberdeen City or Aberdeenshire. Obviously looking to go beyond from that as well, but the core values, I would say right now, is definitely get the presence within the city and the shire. And for that, you need to have a personality that matches it. And that's probably one of the best things I got out of university. I mean, obviously, in terms of the actual skills that I learned throughout there as well, definitely got benefit from that as well. But I do think if you had to, gun to my head, if there was one thing that I got the most benefit from, it was that social and that engagement side of things.
I think a lot of people underestimate that side, especially nowadays. They underestimate that aspect of marketing, that ability to... You have to be able to market yourself before you can if you can't market yourself, why is anybody going to expect you to be able to market them very well?
Exactly.
It's like me asking somebody to come on here and saying, by the way, can you do all the talking? Because although this is my show, I can't talk, so can you do everything?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You have to be able to sell yourself. I mean, we've had a couple of folks in marketing-wise beforehand, Kerry McDonald from Prospect 13, and it is that if you can't market yourself, you're really going to appeal to anybody else to market their brand for them either.
Absolutely.
I mean, it'd be an interesting one to be like, by the way, all my marketing's rubbish. I'll be quite good at yours.
And I think for me as well, I mean, from a business point of view, I'm looking to really drive that value. I've identified, as I said, perhaps, whether it be different agencies or people's education on marketing, it's something that I want to be as approachable as possible. I think being a customer-centric company, I've seen the success from my previous employer, S.E.O Solutions, and how well they've done through that, the level of clients they've got from a company that's recently turned 10 years old. I've seen that progress. I mean, I was there for 4 years, give or take, but even the progress within that 4-year period, it was something that when I apply it to Arch 35, I've kind of plucked it right from there in terms of that customer service element. It's something that, appreciate it's different industries, they're more financial software compared to marketing, but at the same time, when you're working so closely with the co-founders like myself, it's something that, as I said, is a complete no-brainer that I can apply that to my own business as well. It's
always a bonus. I think being able to know, like you're saying before about, it's near the Disney story. There's no I loved marketing. There's no this, but I think that time that a lot of folk miss at college is a massive deal breaker for what you end up doing when you come out of education.
100%.
I mean, so many folk go school, university, which is a big thing, because when you commit to 4 years at university, you've committed to a career path, essentially.
That's the thing.
Whereas if you go into college, you can kind of find your way around those little individual modules, those little individual units before you go, no, this is more the direct, this is more the niche I want to fit myself into. Hence why you were able to go and then go, well, actually, I don't want to go into third year. I'd rather go back to second year and find this extra opportunity that I've got going in.
Absolutely.
Did you ever get back over to Germany?
Not since I've been.
No.
It's something that it's been. I love my time there. But it was something, again, that when I got my role in oil and gas, I had to cut my time short there a little bit. Not massively so. The intention was to be there for 6 months, and it was only a month or so out. But I had the opportunity to work experience. But my time there, I mean, probably not the greatest advocate for RGU here, but it was a bit of a, I was on the beers a lot.
I think you're the only student to go through it, done it. You're all right.
I mean, for the study abroad element, there was, it was just a really good time.
I think that's a good option. That studying abroad is something that I wish a lot more courses offered.
Yeah,
because there's so many. Like a lot of people will look at it as oil and gas. You've got opportunities, Germany, America, so on and so forth. But there's so many more brands. Like even if you're doing media stuff. Going down south to England, going across to Portugal, going across to Spain, just doing something in a completely different setting. Must help with that social aspect as well.
Well, I was going to touch on it there. I think from a personal perspective, I mean, you're going into a country that doesn't speak English primarily, and the likes of me, I mean, there's a story. I lost my phone, probably conflicted through with the beers that I was previously talking about. But in terms of going through that process of having to go through the police station, going through to, basically just everything from insurance report, police report, because it was stolen from on the trams there.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I just come off the tram and realised somebody swiped my phone, and it was like the last day before I left as well. But yeah, you go through that process, and it really forces you to think on your feet. And I think it's something that, again, if that was me when I was 18 years old, you know, I'd have just curled up a ball and hoped for the best, really, hoped that it would have tide over somehow. But when I went to Germany, I mean, I'm an only child as well, so I think going into living on my own, living in a place, as I said, where English isn't the primary language, it really forces your hand in terms of that engagement with other people. And don't get me wrong, there were students there, and it was an English-speaking course, so it's not like it was totally on my own.
Aye.
But at the same time, yeah, it definitely forces you to kind of, from a personal perspective, I would say broaden your horizons just in terms of who else is out there, what else is out there. I mean, you've touched on it there, yeah, there's still many other places that, whether that's something I look at in the future, whether it's something that other people look to do, it's something that hopefully, because I appreciate nowadays it's becoming more and more difficult for that study abroad element to actually be a factor in some people's education.
Yep.
So something I'm a big advocate for. I got a lot out of it, so we can just kind of cross our fingers really that that's still an option for students going forward.
Fingers crossed. I mean, I've spoke to folk who were, again, working in the media side of things, who had opportunities to go over to like Los Angeles and do stuff over there, and I'm like, just opens up such a different market. It's so much fun to do. I mean, you've progressed quite a bit though. So from that sort of social anxiety almost, you know, you're now at the stage where you're turning up to things like the Business Gateway event, and now you're hosting seminars and talks and stuff. How did that one come about?
So I don't know where the conversation came from initially to get me to do the marketing workshop. It was something that I'd been to quite a lot of the Business Gateway events anyway. They're obviously very supportive for new starts, and it was something that they had quite a lot of events in and around my area. So in terms of getting that presence there anyway, that was a no-brainer for me, because when I launched the company, actually prior to launching the company even, I was doing quite a lot of networking events to kind of scope out where people's marketing was right now, what kind of bugbears they were having. You know, just a general sort of feel for, is this business going to be a viable thing? Because if I go to these networking events and every person I speak to says, I'm not bothered about marketing, I'm not interested, or we're happy, then I wouldn't have even bothered. You know what I mean? There's no point in trying to force that.
Yeah, because there's no gap there. There's no point in trying to waste my time filling in a gap that doesn't exist.
Exactly that. So I think from that perspective, we then shifted on to the Business Gateway. Okay, that's me started now. And I think in particular for the first probably 3 months, there wasn't even an element of me advertising the business, I want to say. I think it was more just around just who I am and, you know, a little bit about my journey, whether it be from the apprenticeship side into the uni side into doing what I'm doing now, my role with S.E.O Solutions prior to that. There was always kind of some angle that I would have with people that I could have a conversation with. And the networking very early on, I mean, I was more likely to network for S.E.O rather than Arch, because Arch was only 2-3 months old at this point. But I think in particular, probably from about month 4 or 5, really started to push more on the Arch 35 side of things from a networking perspective. I think Business Gateway probably seeing that there was obviously a demand for branding and marketing to be done anyway.
For sure.
They had a really good co-host in Mark Kemp from 42 Digital. That was a company that was 10 years old, and I know that, I touched on it there, that Business Gateway like to have something for smaller businesses or people who are even on the cusp of thinking about starting a business. So I think for them, it was probably quite an easy fit that there's somebody who's 6 months into his business and can tell them a little bit more about, probably from a smaller agency perspective. And that's something I was able to do. I mean, I was talking to them obviously about what is S.E.O, what is the website, what it can do, some of the common fixes that I've had to do early doors in the business for me. Because again, I've been working with quite a lot of smaller businesses, as you can imagine. I'm probably a lot more approachable to somebody who's just started a business rather than somebody who's, you know, 20, 30, 40 years. It's something that you're kind of on the same path, if you will, in terms of that new start. So just some of the common things that I've seen, how they can fix them. And I think it went very well. Got a lot of engagement after it.
There's definitely one individual who was certainly very, very taken back by you, Mr. Ken Reid. God bless Ken. I've met him for a coffee once. What a man.
Class.
That's a man who you'll see everywhere, especially if you're on LinkedIn or rocking up the chamber events, Business Gateway events.
Yeah, very intelligible guy. Somebody who's been very supportive of me early on. And you don't get a lot of people who would outright support you that much that he's done for me early doors. So that's somebody that definitely appreciate his efforts with Arch 35 so far. Every time I've spoke to him, always been complimentary. I think in terms of what's been done, throughout these networking events. As you said, he's definitely well known amongst them. And
Oh, aye.
yeah, he's always had something positive to say. Get along with him very well. So I think kind of on my journey with the business so far as well, it's like you want people who are kind of batting for you.
Yeah.
And even if it is at these networking events, some people get quite put off by seeing the same faces all the time. And don't get me wrong, like even I've done it myself. Like you only get so far with a certain individual or a certain conversation. But at the same time, when it's somebody like that and you've got probably a few common interests, and as I said, somebody batting for your corner, the work they're doing is a lot more established, you know what I mean, at the stage I'm at. So to have kind of because I don't have probably as much testimonials, case studies, etc., that a lot of these larger organisations would, if I can have individuals like that who are still singing my praises, it's only going to be a benefit for me in the long run.
I think that, you might know more of it from the marketing side of things, the less is more. A couple of really good testimonials stands out better than 100 small ones that
100%.
might not mean anything to anybody.
And that's something that, I mean, it's ironic coming from a marketing agency, but I still tell people word of mouth is key.
Yeah.
And whether that be on a case study testimonial point of view, whether that be just in these networking events and just conducting yourself. I mean, the likes of that Business Gateway event, I'd be looking to do quite a lot of things like that because it allows me to showcase me more as just this, how are you doing? Like the social aspect of it, we'll call it. Because I want to be more than that. Don't get me wrong. I want to drive value. I want to be a friendly face. I want people to be approachable. At the same time, though, I need to tell people that, look, I actually do know what I'm doing. Like, I do actually have a day job. This is actually the technical aspects of what I do as well. So for me, obviously, you'll need to find a balance with that. And for each, whether it be a current client or potential client, that's going to vary as well. You know what I mean? You're not going to have one size fits all for them because some clients will just say, look, I don't really care who you are, just crack on with it. And, you know, that's it. Other people maybe want a lot more engagement. So for me, again, being such a young entrepreneur, I suppose you would call it, that's something that I've had to adapt to quite quickly. I think I've done a good job of it so far, but obviously as the business grows, that's something that we'll continue to work on.
It's a brand that's certainly getting more and more recognized. I think it's a brand that when we started up in April, we weren't far behind you in regards to actually forming as a brand. But even then, you know, people were aware of what the Arch 35 existed.
Yeah.
And I think the more that you're out there as the person behind it, you develop that brand recognition alongside yourself. People then associate, like, they know you and they associate Arch 35 with you.
Yeah, that's
like, you know, it's that we're big proponents of people to connect with people. You know what I mean? People don't see a brand pop up on a screen and necessarily recognize the brand, but they might see the Arch 35 logo and go, oh, Darren was speaking at that Business Gateway thing. So they recognize that person that's connected to a business.
100%.
Almost more than they do the business itself in a way.
Yeah, and that's something that I have to work on. Again, I've talked about personal branding, which again, I'm not a massive fan of that term and I've mentioned it twice. I appreciate that. But it's one of those things, you play the game, I suppose people would call it. It's like that is an element of the business. To totally ignore it would be just as arrogant to, you know what I mean, go unauthentic with it and kind of drive it a bit too much. Because I think when you try and push that personal branding in a very specific way, it comes across as quite robotic and quite scripted. That's something that I try and avoid. I want to be quite, as I said, just me. You know what I mean? I don't want there to be any bells and whistles. I don't want it to come across as something I'm not. And that then, like you're talking about it there, it coincides with the brand. They'll say that, well, I know what I'm getting with him. That's the way he conducts himself. That's the way, you know, I talked about that phrase, a spade's a spade, something along those lines. That's the kind of imagery I would like. Obviously, from the actual technical perspective, for me, it's about delivering as well. I think in terms of the current clients that I've got, both on a retainer model and the bespoke work that I've done for people, for me, where the business is at right now, we're definitely ahead of schedule. So with that in mind, for me, it's about delivering. So it's all well in me going on podcasts or going to networking events and saying, yeah, we're doing really great. We're on X amount of customers. We're making X amount per month or per year. Doing all these events, etc., etc. But if the core foundations of the business isn't delivering what it does, then I'm shooting myself in the foot. It's something that you can only get away with that for so long, and then you just become essentially another salesman. So for me, that's just as important as obviously doing the business development side, is to actually deliver on what we're doing as well. Yeah,
see, we try and focus on what we stand for as individuals, on the understanding that the business stands for the exact same thing. So, you know, it's, yes, if you come to Season Media, you'll get me or Zara, Z, as she's actually known. Zara's our government name, and it feels so weird saying it every time. It's like when people call me Chris. She rarely calls me Chris unless it's in a business sense. So when I sit and go, Zara, it's just like, bloody hell, Zara. We both have our own outlook on life. We both have our own approach. We both have our own values, and we try and make sure that the company backs those values as well. But also that the company reflects what we're like as people. So we both tend to like to relax quite a bit. Hence why these things that we do aren't very formal. We try and keep them as informal as possible. Do you think that your own approach to life influences your approach to business as well? What do you do? What's your relaxation method in your spare time? What do you do to chill out and just kind of?
I play five-a-side twice a week.
Aye.
I've got back into golf. I golfed a lot when I was younger, and then kind of over the past year, I try to get back into that. So I golfed at junior level throughout summer holidays very frequently.
Aye.
Basically, went with my grandfather until my grandfather got unwell, and I was at a 15, 16-year-old kind of age, and I was like, golf, Danny. Done.
Yeah.
But I think, particularly for the longevity of the sport, it's something I can be doing at my 60s and 70s, and I want to keep active. I mean,
you realise you're now going to get dragged out in the course with me, right? Because I've been playing golf for 30 years.
Tidy. That's what it's all about, man.
There you go. Yeah, you're coming out with me.
But yeah, I think for that it's good. And I mean, going on an example on a personal level would be probably my great uncle as well. He's 82, and that's something that if you looked at him, if he walked in the door right now, you'd put him in his 60s.
Yeah.
Fitness instructor in the army by trade. It's something that he's looked after himself. For me to see what that can do in terms of the longevity, and I'm at a stage in my life where I'm thinking more towards, right, I want to be around longer. I want to have family. I want to have, you know what I mean, the full shebang in terms of that sense. And it's like, well, I need to be physically active as possible. So, I mean, I'm in the gym probably when I'm in the office. So, obviously, we're based in the Arches where the S.E.O Solutions is. So, we're right next door to Results Gym. So, I'm in there quite frequently as well. So, it's just natural for me that if there's a gym joined on to my office, I'd be daft not to go there.
Not to make the most of it while it's there.
I think in terms of that, I'm in the gym quite frequently as well. And I think in particular, the big push, I did a little bit of PT recently as well. I think now that because I've been to the gym on and off for so long, and I just kind of half-arsed it basically. You know what I mean? It's just like going once a week, twice a week, kind of just.
I'm going to go in, lift some weights, do some, maybe run on a treadmill or sit on a bike for 20 minutes.
Literally and then, that. So I think actually kind of, realising what it is I'm doing, I think I've noticed a big difference in terms of just my energy levels in general, because doing the business, I mean, the business, whilst it's been co-founded, it's me who does all the marketing, etc. I'm hands on the tools, if you will. So I need, I mean, obviously I had days where I'm non-stop, you know what I mean? But I feel like having the proper exposure at the gym now, both in a mental capacity and a physical capacity, I've noticed a change in me. It's actually allowed me to do that more than perhaps I would have even, say, a year ago, never mind 2, 3, 4 plus years ago.
Yeah. So your approach to the gym, the five-a-side, the golf is similar to your approach to how you run with Arch 35. It's if it's proper, it's planned and it's coordinated, you can put your time and effort, as opposed to just rocking up to a football pitch and kicking a ball about, rocking up to a gym and maybe lifting a couple of weights or running or pottering along to a driving range. If it's planned, you've got a tea time booked, anything that's planned and organised seems to be quite scheduled for outside of your life as well, outside of your work life as well as it is in your work life.
Certainly is more so now than perhaps even a year ago. I think prior to launching the business, I mean, I'm just one of those people, you can imagine, especially being in the marketing space, that I'll walk from here back to office and I'll have 5 ideas come into my head, and it's just like I'll either take voice notes or be sitting typing notes into my phone, whatever. But I don't know where that comes from, because even from a family perspective or mates or that, I don't know where I inherited that from.
Where have I developed this?
Yeah, it's something that honestly there's no kind of story behind it. I'm just one of those people. Even when I was in school, I mean, I did average in school, I would say, probably slightly above average, but I think I could have done very well if I wasn't just so distracted. And it was not even distracted by football or distracted by, whatever, video games, etc. Because I still play video games in my spare time, still watch football in my spare time as well. But it's more of that, just I'll be in the middle of playing a game or listening to music and I'll just think, oh, what about... So I don't know where it comes from.
Just the idea appears.
Yeah, exactly. And it sounds quite put on at times, or it sounds but it genuinely does. So
I think that's a creative mindset that a lot of... Because marketing it's a creative industry. I mean, you have to be able to create something from nothing almost. Yes, okay, a brand exists, a company exists, but you have to create a strategy from essentially nothing. They'll give you the bare bones. You have to create something that is appealing from that point onwards. Creative brains never shut up.
That's the thing.
They just don't shut up. I can imagine your notes thing on your phone must be God knows how many pages long. I've got 3 notebooks that sit over beside the computer, one beside my bed at home, one beside the sofa, and one in the kitchen, because I'll be pottering around cooking, and I'll be like, idea.
It's amazing where it comes from, isn't it?
It's just, it never stops.
I think for me, a big part of that as well is walking, and it's something that's been kind of backed scientifically as well, that going for a walk is something that, for whatever reason, that just triggers something. And I wouldn't even say that's in a creative mindset, because, I mean, I think in terms of creativity, I wouldn't describe myself as creative. I think people might disagree, and some people probably would say that I am. But I've met, for example, art students or people that are into photography, video production, all these sort of a lot more heavily creative industries. And to me, that's like pure creativity. And I think it's like what I am. I come from a financial background. I was a business analyst for 4 years. I was working in finance as well. I've got elements of that creativity in me, but at the same time, I've also got that kind of, I don't want to call it like so rigid and so black and white, but there definitely is that element of that as well. So it's like a bit of a hybrid, I suppose, really. But to me, I think particularly from the S.E.O. standpoint, that's probably why I niched into that so well, because it's still marketing and you still need the creativity behind it. But there's obviously quite a lot of analytics that go into that as well. So it's kind of why it just kind of fell onto me quite naturally, I think.
Stuck into the brain, the
Pretty
analytical
much,
side of it. So what's next for Arch 35? Have you got like or even for you personally, have you got like a plan in place of what you want to happen over the next 12 months, 24, 5 years?
I would say that we went in with a rough plan, and there was nothing like we need to be on X amount of clients or we need to be here by
2 seconds. I just realised that thing's just shut itself off.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Quick camera battery changes, that one died. Sorry, you were saying there was a plan in place?
Yeah, there was nothing black and white in terms of we need to be here by X date.
Yeah.
There was nothing in terms of, to me, being brutally honest, because the context of the business was, as I said, I was working at S.E.O Solutions for just over 3.5 years, approaching 4. Basically, we got to a point where S.E.O kept growing, and rather than me going into, say, a management role or something like that, the idea was to basically start up this business. I would still deliver for S.E.O, but if anybody else came into the frame client-wise, that was a bonus for me.
Yeah.
So to be honest, the first year of the business was really just about focused on delivering for S.E.O, building up a bit of a brand rep, and just, getting past year one, because I appreciate so many businesses, the first year of business is an absolute nightmare.
Yep.
So I went in, obviously, to market with a client in hand already, which is great in terms of stability, in terms of, because I know that a lot of entrepreneurs that, whether I've spoke to them at networking events or just, from YouTube videos, etc., that you go into market with nobody and it's just, oh God, like that 3-month period, 6-month period, if there's nothing there. So, I mean,
trying to get that first one on the books, you're just like, come on.
Because you're basically just going by what it is you're telling them. There's no proof behind the pudding, really. It's just your word against, however many companies you're competing against. So there's, especially in my industry as well, with how competitive the marketing space is, not only in the area, but nationally as well. And I mean, I'm aware of the agencies in this area as well. They're very good at what they do. So it's something that I knew that there was a benchmark to go against, because as I said, 1, it's a highly competitive industry, and 2, the people who are doing the job in the Aberdeen area and Aberdeenshire area are good at what they do. So to me, it's about, right, okay, if there's a strong playing field, what can I do to separate myself from that? So I've touched on it there. We went into the customer service side of things, probably leaning into SEO a little bit more. And through that, I think it kind of got us to a stage where I'm probably ahead of schedule in terms of where the business is at right now. We'll call it 6 months for easy rounding. We're probably estimated to be here probably within year 1. So it's not like we're not 5 years. It's not like a, absolute, like,
not like yes, I'm well ahead.
Taking over the world just yet, far from it. But yeah, we're ahead of schedule so far, and that's obviously a bonus to me. But I touched on it already. It's all well and good me telling people this, but if I'm not delivering on top of that. So I think the next phase of me is to deliver while we're on this level ahead. And it's kind of similar to what I was planning with prior to starting the business, in terms of just that, right, we'll deliver and just get through the first year. Because at the end of the day, I appreciate how, like, this could all go away tomorrow, no matter what, whether that be my health, whether it be industry. There's so many different factors, and that's out with business. That's just in life. That I think for where we're at right now, we can just keep delivering what we're doing for the next 6 months. We'll get to year 1 and reassess it. And I think that if we do go on the trajectory that we're on, that there's a lot of potential there. I mean, we've got the partnership with Robert Gordon University. We're trade partners with them. So I think having students coming in, challenging me, it's something that I really like students to come in with a fresh perspective.
Yeah.
I want them to tell me that something on the website looks garbage. I want them to tell me that a social media post is rubbish, because it allows me to be fresh. It allows me to keep different as well. Because if I do all these things and say all these things, but I don't have somebody to say, oh, but what about doing X, Y, and Z? And I don't know what that is yet, because it's something that probably in 1 or 2 years' time, never mind your 5 to 10 years' time, the industry is going to look totally different again, whether that be AI integration, whether it be the next social media trend. You know, there's so much variables that can change.
Yeah.
So to me, having that constant stream of students coming in and giving a bit of, I suppose, advice from their own regard, and obviously I give that advice back to them, and I try and say to them that maybe we're not at the stage of hiring right now, but we can give them a platform to showcase what they can do in terms of portfolio building in particular. That's something I'm a big advocate for, because I think that separates, because so many people have degrees in the job space now compared to what it was like even when I was younger. I think you need something like a portfolio to separate yourself out.
Oh, definitely.
And something like that, if I can offer that to somebody and give them a different perspective on what it is compared to, say, 30, 40 other people applying for the job, that could be the difference between them getting a future job that they are desperate for, or just being, you know, another one that's lost in the shuffle, really.
Yeah, I think that having something that, you know, helps you stand out from the crowd, something that differentiates you from everywhere else, is relevant to businesses and individuals alike. I think there's too many individuals that forget that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at any graduation class, 20, 30, 40 people all graduating at the same time, you're all looking for jobs in the same kind of field when you come out of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why should someone pick you over your 29 other classmates that came through at the exact same time?
I think people underestimate as well how many of those 29 have connections that you might not, and like it or not, like the connection side of things in terms of employment is so important.
Oh, God.
It's huge, and to ignore it would be just arrogance. It's something that it's absolutely vital. So I think it's something that as well, me building out my connections throughout university as well, gives students opportunities to maybe build a network that they might not otherwise have had. Because when I graduated, I don't want to say no network, but I mean, compared to some of the students, like, I had absolutely no idea. Like, I never had, like I said, my dad works offshore. I mean, I don't know how many marketing I could do in an oil rig, to be quite frank. It would be a bit of a...
There's only so many fish are going to buy into one.
Exactly. So things like that, it's about finding people not only... And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that people can't make connections within separate industries. They absolutely can, because you never know who goes where in life in terms of roles, in terms of industries, etc. But for me, like, I probably underestimated the value of a strong network early on, and it's something that I'm continuing to build mine out even yet still for Arch, and it's something that I'm going to be doing that throughout my whole career, because it's something that, as I said, put a lot of emphasis into it. And I think particularly with the younger audience, it's I suppose long-term planning a little bit as well. It's always good to know that...
I think networks are something you have to keep building.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll never stop. I mean, again, use Ken as an example. You know, I mean, he's been in his industry and his role and his style of job, despite having retired and then come back and started working again. He still builds his network now. He still keeps adding new things. He keeps putting things out. Like, anyone who I don't know, fancy meeting up for a coffee and a chat at some point. That was how I got to know him.
Oh, was it?
He just randomly put a post up once saying, you know, anyone not in my network who, or I've never met before, fancy meeting up for a coffee at one point.
Yeah.
I goes, come on then, I've never met you, don't know what you do, let's sit and chat for an hour.
That's a great thought.
Met him, sit for a coffee. I think a couple of folk we've spoke to in the past, and I'll run it by you, the phrase that a lot of people don't use enough is shoot your shot.
Aye.
Don't be scared to just go and ask somebody a question. And I get it's difficult, but you've got so many means of doing it now via a keyboard that you don't always have to go up to somebody in person and be like, hey, do you want to come and meet and do something? Take advantage of networks like LinkedIn.
And it's something that I've probably learned that on a personal level as well. So my grandfather on my father's side grew up with St Fergus gas terminal, is that farmland.
Okay.
Where that farmland was, that's where my grandfather grew up.
Oh, Jesus.
So basically grew up a farmer and was always one of those people. I mean, he was I suppose, typical farmer, not ever so much in his demeanour, but that mentality side of, one, short arms and deep pockets, but also the fact that he would always just chance his hand. And I think in terms of the business, I've probably learned a lot from him in that regard. It was something that I always remember when I was about 6 or 7 years old. We're walking through, it was like part of the Peterhead, because my granddad, if I was staying at theirs, like my dad was offshore, my mum was working, I go with my grandparents naturally. we were just walking along the harbour someplace, and it was like, you're not supposed to go into a certain bit.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'll just go up and ask the guy. And I was about 7 years old. I had this massive panic attack. I was like, no, but it clearly says. And he's like, aye, but we'll just ask.
We'll just
And
do
he's
it.
like, what's the worst they'll do? They'll say no.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it's funny in life, these little, like, to him, probably just went about his day, never
Yeah.
thought about it again. But to me, that's something that's stuck in my head for like years and years of like, oh, what's the worst they can do? They can say no.
Yep.
And it's something that, again, it's small things like that it shapes not only you as an individual, but in this case, it can shape a potential business.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a sole factor, obviously, but it's these
But
little
it's
things
a contributing
like that.
factor for sure.
Aye, absolutely. So I think it's, whether it be family or friends, like you're saying there, shoot your shot. It's just the exact same premise of it. But
I love that. Just it says no. We'll be fine. We'll go up and check it. Anyway.
Exactly. Aye.
Yeah, that sounds like my father, to be honest with you. When he was here, it was always just that. Well, look, just ask.
Exactly,
What have you got to
aye.
lose? Just ask a question. Somebody says no to you. What happened? It's like, it's hard. I struggle with social anxiety. I kind of go into big groups of people for very long because I just, these networking events that we go to, even that one at Business Gateway, I had to go home and sit in a dark room for like 2 hours
really?
afterwards.
Wow.
Because my brain just goes,
right.
does completely gone. I have to go home. I'll either sit in a dark room or I have to put my headphones on and switch a game on or do something. And
I'm quite surprised by that,
distance
to be
myself.
fair, because in the actual day, like, you're brand new, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could have honestly, you could have fooled me, like, genuinely.
That's
aye.
the complete difference for me. That's one of the reasons that I don't do very much. I'm teetotal. I don't drink anymore. But,
All right.
you know, like I said before on other episodes, you never stop being an alcoholic. You're always one. It's just been longer since your last drink.
Yeah.
And I don't go out and socialise. I don't do much. I go out in the golf course because I'm like, that's a group where I can play at most with 3 other people.
Yeah.
It's a small group.
quite-
And even then, if we're out in the course, chances are one of us is hooked it left, one of us is sliced it right. We're not going to be
got
chatting
that.
to each other at the other direction until we get back to the green again afterwards. So it's that nice little distancing of things where it's just like, let's not sit in a massive group of people all the time because, dear God, that burns you out so quickly. Kind of see myself doing it again going forward. As usual, standard for me, go off on tangents. Started speaking about one point, completely lost my track of what I was doing. So you've said what's coming next or what your sort of outlook is. You're about 6 months in, but you're now roughly at what you would have classed as the year-long point.
Aye, pretty much.
What about you as an individual? So that's the business itself. Do you want to keep doing more things like you've done with Business Gateway?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's something that I'm already in discussions to do my next talk at a school. So
Okay.
a secondary school in the Aberdeen area.
Nice.
Whether that comes to fruition or not, we'll just wait and see. But to me, the public speaking is very good for me. It's something that I've talked about it in my past. I would never have dreamed that I would do something like that. And I actually think that's why I enjoy it so much, because it's almost like it's that, holy shit, I never thought I would be able to do this. Let's do a load of them, because never thought it was a viable option. Maybe
Do it once, now you've got the bug, you're like, I want to
yeah.
do more.
I think in terms of the personal stuff, to me, the next stage would probably be like getting a dog, starting a family. I'm 29 years old now, so I think in terms of, I've been with my girlfriend for 7 years now.
Aye.
Recently moved in together. I'm probably at that stage now where if party days are definitely further behind me than I still try and have a social life, obviously.
Yeah.
In terms of what it was like, obviously 5-10 years ago, different
Yeah.
ball games. So
Social
definitely
life becomes less of a priority than everything else in life.
so it's about transitioning into that, I suppose, stage of my life, really.
Yeah.
And I mean, still keen to get out golfing and keep myself, like I've talked about some of the influences behind it, but keep myself physically on the ball as possible, because I think that coincides with your mental state as well. And I think, obviously, as the business grows, I appreciate that this potential stress levels can go through the roof with that. And it's something that, because I'm doing so much variable roles, I suppose, within the business.
Yeah.
Again, going back to the business, so yeah, we'll have people come in and what have you, but at the same time, when it's your baby, it's like you want to see it go a very particular way. You want to see it.
You've got a vision for it.
Aye, exactly. And it's, for me, as I said, I've definitely got that side to me where, what, a golden retriever, to be specific in terms of
Knows exactly what he wants.
I always wanted one. So my father's allergic, but I'm not. So it's probably a bit of that like only child syndrome coming through there. It's like, I can't have it, so now I want it.
I want it more.
Exactly.
Is your dad supportive of you getting a dog, though?
I don't think he'll find out if he watches it, I suppose. But aye.
See, my old man was totally against me getting a dog to start with.
I know he's not a fan of them at all.
I got a puppy. When I say a puppy,
you?
he was 7 months. 7 months when I got 9 months when I got him. I've had him for like 6 years now.
Nice.
And when I first got him, the very first day I went to go out, so I like picked him up on a Thursday night or something. I was still working on a Friday. So I went to go out to work on the Friday morning, and as soon as I closed the door behind me, he was just pining, making noise. I'm like, I can't do it. So I had to phone my old man and be like, look, any chance you can come round and sit with the dog? Because he'd been retired anyway. I was like, go and come round and sit. And he went, right, okay, fine, but I'm not doing this every day. Came round, he sat with the dog. I went out to work, came back in the afternoon, and sure enough, as he's leaving, he's like, so do you want me to come around and sit with the dog tomorrow as well? Is there anything else you need me to... Like, I don't mind. I won't do it all the time, but if you need me to come back around another day...
Little eye.
It's amazing how quickly Dad's come around to the fact that, these little dogs are actually quite cool, you know?
Yeah, that's great, though.
I'd imagine yours would be the same. It'd be like, yeah, can't stand them, I'm allergic. You watch the first time he came around and sat with it. I'll take your dog out for a walk for you. That's the best part.
We'll wait and see.
So wait till you take your dog out for a walk on the golf course with you.
Oh, aye, of course, that'd be great.
Fetch my ball, please. It's going into the trees. So where can people find out more about Arch35 then? Where can they find you online? Find out a bit more about
the website, obviously www.arch35.com.
Yep.
We're on socials, LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn's probably the primary social that we're using right now, just in terms of where the business is at.
Yeah.
In terms of getting that initial B2B contact. It's something that we're looking to push quite a lot for the next probably 6 months to a year.
Yep.
Do have a Facebook and Instagram. Facebook's a little bit more active now than when it was when we first started out.
Yeah.
Instagram's probably a little bit quieter, but we've definitely got it there. Obviously myself as well.
Yeah.
I've got my own personal LinkedIn as well, so just Darren Cadger. Always open to speaking to people on that. I'll probably shoot my own shot a lot of times as well.
Yeah.
Whether it be from a marketing, social media aspect, S.E.O. aspect, audit aspect, anything like that. You know, I try and kind of gauge where I can fit into people's plans, and obviously I'm not try to ping that across to people as well.
Quite right.
So I think, personally, my personal LinkedIn, I should say, rather, and then across the rest of the socials for the business as well, and obviously the website.
Well, we'll put the links to everything down below in the description of this video. Darren, thank you for coming in and chatting to us. It's been greatly appreciated, mate. It's not going to be the first. It's not going to be the last time. We will have you back in again for season 2 because we like to do follow-ups with folks that we've spoke to and find out more about stuff. And again, I am going to drag you out in the golf. Whereabouts do you play? No, you just out at Ellen.
I was
golf-wise.
playing Peterhead 9-holer.
Okay.
I was at Kings Links. I've not actually played Ellen yet. I've done Kings Links, Peterhead 9-holer, and a couple of others as well.
Okay, well, I'm a member up at Hazelhead, so I'll drag you up to Hazelhead for a bit.
Sounds like a plan. 2
Parkland courses, 2 18-holers, and a 9-holer right next to it as well.
Spot
so
on, eh?
We'll get out for that. If anyone out there wants to join in, I'm thinking a golf networking event could be a lot of fun.
Too right.
There's been a few of them going around, but I'll say less about the cost of those that people have been charging to turn up to a couple of 4 balls. Here we go. Reminder, if you're new to the channel, a click of the subscribe button down below is free and does a lot to support a business, not just that puts these episodes out, but also the businesses connected with the guests that we have coming on as well. We'll be back with another episode next week. Thank you for watching. Take care.